Hey there, warrior. Yes, you the one who's had enough of feeling stuck. You've tried everything, reading books, watching motivational videos, setting goals, even pushing yourself to be more positive. But no matter what you do, nothing seems to stick for long. Sound familiar? Now think about this for a second. One person loses their job and they spiral. They blame the economy, curse their boss, and fall deep into self-pity. Another person loses their job, but instead of falling apart, they rise earlier, sharpen their skills, and reinvent their life. Same event, completely different reactions. Why? The answer is simple, yet brutal. It's not life that breaks us, it's our mindset that allows it. And that's why Stoicism has become more relevant today than ever before. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and emotional weakness, Stoicism reminds us that you are the one in control, not your feeling society or your past. You see, fixing. Your life doesn't begin with your job, your relationships, or your finances. It starts with your mind. Once you fix your mind, everything else begins to fall into place. But let me warn you, what we're about to talk about isn't soft or easy. The rules we're covering are not gentle advice. These are brutal, no-nonsense truths that will punch your ego straight in the face. They aren't for the easily offended. They're for the people who are sick of being stuck, sick of living on autopilot, and tired of falling apart every time life throws a curveball. If that's you, you're exactly where you need to be. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 Stoic rules that will help you take back control of your emotions, your habits, your goals, and your entire life. These rules are inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius Epictetus Seneca and the core of ancient Stoic philosophy. But don't worry, we'll break them down in simple modern language that anyone can understand and apply. No philosophy degree required. We'll dive into emotional strength, mental discipline, self-awareness, and the painful but necessary process of becoming the person you were always meant to be. And with each rule, I'll share a real Stoic quote or principle, not just as decoration, but as a tool for you to reflect on and live by. So before we dive into rule number 1, here's what I need from you. If you're ready to stop blaming the world and start rebuilding yourself, if you're ready to conquer your emotions instead of letting them control you, if you're ready to fix your mind and fix your life, then drop this affirmation in the comments. Right now, I will no longer live at the mercy of my emotions. Also, don't forget to like this video, comment below, share it with someone who needs this, and subscribe to the channel for more Stoic-based life strategies. And most importantly, don't skip any part of this video. Every rule is connected and each one will change the way you think. Let's get started. Building on the powerful idea from before, remember your life doesn't change with good intentions. It changes with real disciplined actions. Now let's dive into Rule 1. Stop negotiating with your weakness. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible. And no one can keep you from this." This is the essence of Stoic strength, the belief that each action, no matter how small, is a step toward building a strong, resilient life. The biggest mistake people make when trying to fix their lives, they try to negotiate with their weaknesses. How often have you said to yourself, "Just one more hour of sleep, it won't hurt. I'll start my diet tomorrow. This will be the last time I text them." But here's the harsh truth. Every time you negotiate with weakness, you lose. And when weakness wins often enough, it becomes who you are. Think about this. The strongest, most disciplined, confident version of you isn't some far-off dream. It's suffocated by years of comfort, excuses, and emotional indulgence. You can't become the best version of yourself if you keep giving in every time life gets tough. You won't fix your life if you continue to fold every time you feel bored, lonely, or uncomfortable. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't seek comfort, they trained for adversity. Why? Because they understood that every moment of suffering, every hardship, and every temptation resisted is a victory for the soul. Think about it when your alarm goes off. Do you rise like a warrior or hit snooze, letting your emotions take over? When anxiety hits, do you sit with it and grow stronger, or do you distract yourself with social media or food? When temptation knocks, do you hold the line, or do you say, just one more time? Here's the brutal truth. You will never fix your life until you kill the version of yourself that keeps making excuses. There is no peace without discipline. There is no greatness without sacrifice. And there is no strong mind without facing your own weakness and saying, not today. Every time you delay your potential, you're not just wasting time, you're betraying your future. So the next time you're tempted to stay in bed, text that toxic person or waste another day, don't reason with it. Don't argue with it. Don't try to explain it away. You get up. You shut it down. You choose strength over comfort. This is how warriors are built, action by action. And here's the most important part. I don't care how far behind you feel or how many times you failed in the past. The moment you stop negotiating with weakness, the healing begins. Drop this affirmation in the comments. No more deals with weakness. I choose strength. Now let's move on to Rule 2, control your reactions or be controlled by them. Epictetus once said, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Imagine this: two people hear the same insult. One laughs it off, letting it roll off their back. The other holds it in their chest like a knife, carrying it with them for weeks. Same words, same moment, yet completely different realities. Why? Because it's not the insult that hurts. It's your reaction to it. It's not the traffic jam, the breakup, the rude coworker, or the failure that defines your life. It's how you choose to react to those events. Your power lies in how you respond to life's challenges. If you can control your reactions, you can control your life. And when you master this, you unlock true emotional strength and mental discipline. Now let's keep going and dive deeper into how to apply these Stoic principles in your everyday life. Building on the idea from before, remember your emotional state isn't determined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to it. This is the foundation of Stoic philosophy. Rule 3. It's how you interpret and respond to events that determine your emotional state. Most people live as emotional slaves. They hand over control of their peace to tiny moments, comments online, an unexpected delay, or things outside their control. And the worst part, they don't even realize it. They let the actions of strangers or the unpredictability of life hijack their emotional stability. But Stoicism teaches us the opposite. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Let that sink in. Every time you snap at someone, overthink a situation, or spiral because of something external, you're giving away your power. And what's worse, you're becoming predictable. Think about it. People who can't control their reactions are like puppets. Pull the right string and they'll explode, cry, panic, or freeze. Do you want to live like that? Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful Stoic figures in history, reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So how do you take control of your emotional state? It begins with the way you respond, not the events themselves. Step 1. Slow down your reactions. The moment you feel triggered, pause. Take a deep breath. Step back from the situation mentally. Ask yourself, what part of this do I actually control? If the answer is nothing external, then the only battlefield left is internal. Your response is where you can take action. Step 2. Separate facts from emotions. She said something rude that's a fact. I'm not good enough. That's a story you're telling yourself. Train yourself to see things clearly without emotional fog clouding your judgment. This takes practice, but every moment you do it, you're strengthening your mental clarity. Every time you step back from emotional chaos and look at a situation objectively, you're building your emotional resilience. Step 3. Reclaim your peace. Now, peace doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming unshakable. It's about responding with calm power, not panic. It's realizing that your response is always your responsibility, no matter how unfair life seems. When you master your reactions, you become unstoppable. Why? Because you're not easily baited. You don't fall apart under pressure. Instead, you choose your actions carefully, living on your own terms. And make no mistake, this is a skill you can build. You don't need to be born calm. You train calmness like a muscle. Every time you don't react emotionally, every time you hold your ground and stay centered, you prove to yourself that you are not your feelings. You are the master, not the storm. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, remember, their words are powerless unless you give them power. Their behavior is not a reflection of you. How you respond, however, is always a reflection of you. You want to fix your life, then stop reacting to every little thing like your piece is up for auction. Choose your response like a warrior preparing for battle, deliberate, sharp, and grounded, because the man or woman who owns their reactions owns their life. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My peace is mine. I will not hand it over. Now let's move on to Rule 4. Do the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it. If you want to improve, be content with being thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus wasn't just spitting motivational quotes, he was laying down the law of personal growth. Let's be brutally honest. Most people already know exactly what they need to do to change their life. Wake up earlier, stop wasting time, cut out toxic people, exercise more, study harder, say no more often, speak up for themselves, but do they actually do it, building on the last idea? Remember, discipline is the key to progress, not motivation. Now let's talk about Rule 4. Consistency is king. Most people know what they need to do to improve their lives, but they don't do it. Why? Because it's hard, because it's uncomfortable, because their feelings scream louder than their discipline. And that's the problem. The ancient Stoics didn't wait until they felt ready to take action. In fact, they trained their minds to expect resistance. They saw discomfort as a forge for character, not something to avoid. The Stoics understood something most people miss. If your actions are always tied to your emotions, you'll never build a meaningful life. Let's be honest, there will be days when you don't feel like doing what's right. You won't always feel like showing up. You won't always feel motivated. That's just reality. But here's the key difference between a weak person and a strong one. The weak wait for motivation. The strong rely on discipline. Motivation is emotional, fleeting, and unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision, a commitment. Every time you choose to do the hard thing, especially when you don't feel like it, you're building mental armor. You're telling your mind, I don't need to feel perfect to act with power. Going to the gym when you're tired, that's a victory. Having that tough conversation you've been avoiding, that's growth. Choosing to walk away from comfort and face your fears, that's real strength. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about it. How many battles have you already lost in your head before even trying? How many goals have you delayed, not because they were impossible, but because they were uncomfortable? If you want to fix your life, you've got to stop fearing discomfort. Start chasing it. Lean into it, because the things you avoid today are the regrets you'll carry tomorrow. Here's the truth. You'll never feel ready to change your life. There will always be a reason to wait, a reason to put it off, a reason to stay in your comfort zone. But the cost of waiting is years you'll never get back. So what should you do? Wake up and do the work anyway, even when your mind resists, even when it feels unfair, even if no one claps for you, because you don't need applause, you don't need perfect conditions, you just need to do the damn work. And when your body wants to quit, when your emotions start whining, and when your thoughts begin to doubt you, that's when you push harder. Because those moments are where true strength is born. Remember this. You can choose the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. But either way, you will suffer. Only one of those paths builds the life you truly want. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop expecting it to be easy. Real change is ugly. Real change is lonely. Real change is painful, but it's also worth it. Every hard thing you do now will lead to a softer future later. Every resistance you face now will become a story of pride tomorrow. Rule 5. Cut the noise and master your focus. As Seneca once said, "If you are everywhere, you are nowhere." Let's face it, we live in a world that's constantly screaming at us. Notifications, messages, headlines, gossip, advertisements, warnings, opinions, distractions. You're being pulled in 100 different directions, and then you wonder why you feel anxious, lost, and disconnected. But here's the truth. Picking up where we left off, remember, a scattered mind leads to a wasted life. To build something meaningful, you must protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. Rule 5. You cannot fix your life if your mind is scattered. One of the most brutal but liberating Stoic truths is this: clarity is power. The Stoics weren't just about silence or strength, they were about deep focus, precise attention to the task at hand. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Concentrate every minute, like a Roman on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." He didn't say multitask or scroll for inspiration. No, he said focus, deep and deliberate. Now think about your own daily life. How often are you fully present in what you're doing? How often are you creating rather than consuming? How many hours are wasted scrolling, overthinking, or distracted by things that don't add value to your growth? Here's the brutal truth most people don't want to hear. The problem isn't laziness, it's addiction to noise. Most of us can't sit alone in silence. We can't work without checking our phones every 5 minutes. We can't stick to one path long enough to master anything. Does this sound familiar? If so, it's not a judgment, but a warning. Because a distracted mind leads to a wasted life. So how do you fix it? Here's how. Step 1. Cut the digital noise. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set strict time blocks for social media. Treat your phone as a tool, not a leash. Step 2. Create sacred space for deep focus. Even if it's just 60 minutes a day, no distractions, no multitasking. Just you and your most important work. This is where clarity lives. This is where self-respect grows. Step 3. Train your attention like a muscle. Practice being fully present in the simplest of tasks: eating, walking, reading, writing. The more you do this, the stronger your focus becomes. The world will always try to pull your attention in 1,000 directions, but you get to decide where it goes. A Stoic doesn't chase everything. A Stoic chooses deliberately. Why? Because a focused person is a powerful person. They can build, improve, grow, and lead. And here's the thing. Your ability to fix your life is directly tied to your ability to focus on what truly matters. The distractions will keep coming and the noise will always be there. But if you can master your attention, you can master your world. So starting today, cut the meaningless distractions, silence the noise, and direct your energy towards the things that will truly build your future. Drop this affirmation in the comments: I control my focus. My attention builds my future. Now let's move on to Rule 6. Stop seeking approval. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Let that quote sink in for a moment. How often do we hesitate, doubt ourselves, or shrink back because we're afraid of what others might think? We say we want to grow, we say we want to become strong, independent, untouchable. But the moment we fear judgment, we hesitate. We seek permission. We wait for someone else's approval before we move forward. Here's the hard truth. Stoicism forces us to face: the world doesn't care about your potential, and you don't need its approval. Picking up from where we left off, remember, real growth often comes with resistance, not applause. Rule 6. You cannot fix your life if you're waiting for people to clap for every move you make. Here's the hard truth. Most people aren't ready to hear: the more you improve yourself, the more resistance you'll face. And it's not always from your enemies. Often, it comes from the people closest to you. Why? Because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your discipline highlights their laziness. Your confidence threatens their comfort zone. So what do? They mock you. They doubt you. They try to keep you in the version of yourself they can understand and control. But the Stoic doesn't live to please others. A Stoic lives according to virtue, not approval. According to truth, not popularity. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means that if you're afraid of looking weird, being misunderstood, or standing alone, you'll never rise to your full potential. You'll stay average. You'll stay silent. You'll stay stuck, all just to be accepted. But let me be brutally honest. No one is coming to save you. No one is obligated to believe in you, and no one can give you permission to become who you're meant to be, except you. The moment you stop needing approval is the moment you truly become powerful. Because at that moment you no longer wait, you act. You no longer beg, you build. You no longer explain, you evolve. So what if they laugh at your new habits? What if they don't understand your boundaries, your silence, or your obsession with self-growth? You're not here to be understood by the small-minded. You're here to become unshakable. And if walking this path means walking alone, then walk alone with pride, because greatness has always been a lonely road. But it's also the most honest, the most rewarding, and the most freeing road of all. So stop waiting, stop apologizing, stop explaining. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You just need to decide you're done playing small. Rule 7. Silence is power. Speak less, master more. In a world where everyone wants to be heard but few want to listen, the Stoics understood something critical. Silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. Why? Because the person who speaks less, listens more, learns faster, and responds instead of reacting. They hold power instead of leaking energy. Think about it. How often do you hear someone speaking for the sake of speaking in a world full of noise? Most people share empty opinions and shallow thoughts. But a Stoic doesn't waste energy on that. A Stoic knows when to speak and when to remain silent. If you want to fix your mind, you must first learn to control your tongue. Not everything needs a reaction. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not every thought needs to be said out loud. In fact, the more you speak, the more you reveal your insecurities, your fears, your weaknesses, and even your plans. But when you're silent, people can't read you. And that's power. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." One of the first things you need to master is your mouth. Here's the trap. When you're constantly talking, justifying, proving, or defending yourself, you're reacting to the world instead of creating your own. Let others seek attention. Let others chase validation. You stay silent. You stay focused. You move with strength. Silence doesn't mean passivity. It means calculated presence. It means choosing your words wisely, knowing when to speak and when to hold your ground. By mastering silence, you take control over your actions, your energy, and your peace. This is how you build a strong, resilient mind that isn't influenced by every outside distraction. It's how you make sure you're never led astray by the opinions or expectations of others. Silence is a tool, and when you use it wisely, it becomes one of your most powerful allies in the pursuit of greatness. Continuing from where we left off, remember, silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. Rule 7. Silence speaks louder than words. Silence means saying less, but meaning more. It means letting your actions do the talking 10 times louder than your words ever could. But silence doesn't just make you more powerful, it also protects you. It shields your energy from pointless arguments. It guards your dignity from unnecessary emotional outbursts. It even protects your strategy by keeping it hidden from the wrong people. So how do you master the art of silence? Here's how. Step 1. Be okay with not responding immediately. Not every message requires an instant reply. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Let time do the talking. It's the most powerful way to reclaim control. Step 2. Get comfortable with being misunderstood. Silence teaches you to be okay with people not getting you. You don't need to clear your name. What you need is to build your name. People will talk. They will misunderstand, but your silence will speak louder than any defense could. Step 3. Focus on becoming, not performing. While others try to look powerful, you focus on becoming powerful. While they talk about their goals, you work quietly in the shadows. The Stoic path isn't loud or flashy. It's disciplined, focused, and intentional. And it all begins with silence. So stop oversharing. Stop giving away your peace. Stop leaking your energy through words. Let your silence terrify the insecure. Let your silence speak for your strength. Let your silence become your superpower. Drop this affirmation in the comments. If you're ready to master your tongue, I will let silence speak for my strength. Rule 8. Own your mistakes without shame or excuses. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Seneca. Everyone messes up. Everyone falls short. Everyone has regrets. But here's the difference between a broken life and a rebuilt one. Do you face your mistakes like a warrior, or do you run from them like a coward? Most people do the latter. They blame others. They make excuses. They cover up the truth with distractions, denial, or fake positivity. But Stoicism teaches us to face reality brutally and completely. The only way to become unbreakable is to first be honest with yourself. Did you waste years in a toxic relationship? Own it. Did you betray your own standards? Own it. Did you lie, cheat, procrastinate, or self-sabotage? Own it. Not with guilt, not with shame, but with courage. You see, shame keeps you stuck, but ownership sets you free. Owning your mistakes doesn't mean drowning in regret. It means standing up and saying, yes, I failed, but now I rise and I will never go back. Seneca reminds us that every trial, every error, and every scar is a necessary part of becoming who we were meant to be. Stop hiding your wounds. They are your proof that you've lived, struggled, and learned. Stop trying to look perfect. Perfection is the enemy of growth. Instead, develop radical self-honesty, the kind that makes you flinch, but also fuels your transformation. Here's the hard truth. You can't fix your life if you keep rewriting the past to make yourself feel better. So stand in the fire of your own truth. Take full responsibility, not just for your past, but for who you choose to become now. No more stories, no more lies, no more avoiding the mirror. Own it all and then rise from it. Drop this in the comments if you're ready to own your truth. I will own my truth and rise from it. Continuing from the previous rule, remember, growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Rule 8. Discomfort is your teacher. Stop running from it. Let me share something with you that could change your life if you allow it. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your lesson. It's your test. It's your breakthrough waiting to happen. But what do most people do the moment they feel discomfort? They run. They distract themselves, numb their feelings, and when the quiet gets too loud, they turn on noise. They feel sad, so they reach for food, people, or entertainment. They feel uncertain, so they panic, overthink, and break down. But here's the truth. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. The Stoics didn't seek easy lives. They sought strength because they knew that strength was the only thing that could carry you through a world filled with chaos. Think about it. You can't grow your muscles without tearing them in training. You can't build your mind without going through hardship. And you'll never find peace if you keep avoiding the emotions that are desperately screaming to be heard. So, stop trying to escape every uncomfortable moment. Instead, sit with it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What strength is this pain trying to build? Because every heartbreak, failure, delay, or rejection isn't punishment. It's preparation. The Stoic mindset isn't about feeling good. It's about becoming good even when things feel bad. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, betrayals, and loss, and still he wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it." Stop complaining. That's not coldness, that's clarity. Discomfort isn't here to destroy you, it's here to reshape you. But only if you stop running, only if you meet it head on with courage and humility. So the next time you feel discomfort, remind yourself this moment is not meant to be comfortable. It's meant to make me stronger. And guess what? When you stop fearing discomfort, you become unstoppable. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Discomfort is my teacher. I no longer run. Now let's move on to Rule 9. Discipline is greater than motivation. Build it daily. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Let me ask you a hard question. Are you truly free or are you just emotionally driven? Here's what most people don't understand. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. Freedom comes from doing what you must, especially when you don't want to. That's called discipline. And discipline is what separates the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders. Motivation is emotional. It's a mood, it's a high. And like all highs, it fades. But discipline is a system. Discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. Discipline gets you out of bed when motivation whispers, sleep in. Discipline makes you show up even on the bad days. The Stoics mastered this truth. They trained their minds to ignore emotions when emotions were useless. They built routines, values, and virtues, not based on how they felt, but based on who they wanted to become. Marcus Aurelius, for example, still showed up as emperor while grieving, tired, and under pressure. He didn't wait for perfect feelings, he just did the work. Why? Because duty is greater than feelings. That's a Stoic rule. That's how lives get transformed. If you want to fix yourself, stop chasing motivation hacks. Start developing daily discipline. Wake up at the same time. Move your body. Control your diet. Learn something new every day. Focus. Because when you develop discipline, you don't need to rely on motivation to get the work done. You simply do it. And that's where true freedom lies. Continuing from where we left off, remember, discipline is what carries you when motivation fades. Now let's talk about Rule 10. Stop living in your head, live in alignment with your actions. It's easy to think. It's easy to imagine. It's easy to dream of becoming better, stronger, wiser. But none of that changes your life. What truly changes your life, action. And not just random activity, but aligned, purposeful action. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't just something to think about, it was something to live. A Stoic doesn't just talk about self-control, they practice it in private. A Stoic doesn't just post about peace and discipline, they live it when no one's watching. That's alignment. But here's the problem. Most people live two lives. There's the one in their mind full of goals, clarity, and wisdom. And then there's the one in reality full of contradiction, excuses, and confusion. They say they want peace, but they gossip and complain. They say they want growth, but they procrastinate and scroll. They say they want to become stoic, but they live like emotional slaves. Here's the brutal truth. It doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. All the quotes, all the motivation, all the wisdom mean nothing if your daily actions contradict them. If you want to fix your life, stop performing. Stop pretending, stop talking, and start embodying. You know what needs to be done right now? Do it. If you say you're stoic, train your emotions daily. If you say you value time, stop wasting it. If you say you're focused, prove it with your actions. Stop chasing perfection. Instead, chase alignment. Because when your values and actions match, that's when you feel whole. That's where peace lives. That's where self-respect grows. Marcus Aurelius didn't sit around pondering the ideal man. He said, be one. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Now. So from this moment on, every time you feel confused, ask yourself, what would the strongest version of me do in this moment? And then do it. Let your life speak louder than your words. Let your consistency replace your need for applause. Let your quiet alignment make you untouchable. When your actions align with your values, you become dangerous not to others, but to your own weaknesses. This is true power. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to live in alignment. I will live as the person I claim to be. Don't just talk about your philosophy. Embody it. Now you've heard the 10 brutal Stoic rules to fix your life. These aren't the kind of rules you hear in self-help books or fluffy motivational talks. No, these are the kind that break illusions and build real character. If you apply these rules, really apply them, you'll stop living like a victim of your emotions and environment. You'll stop being at the mercy of every distraction, every feeling, and every setback. You'll start living like the Stoics did, not emotionless, but emotionally unshakable. Not perfect, but aligned. Not always loud, but unmistakably powerful. And remember, this path isn't easy. It's not meant to be. But it's the only path that leads to a life of self-respect, clarity, and true inner freedom. So now it's your move. Don't let this video be just another wave of motivation that fades by tomorrow. Choose one rule. Apply it today. Then tomorrow do it again and again. Fix your mind. Fix your life. The Stoics left us the blueprint. Now it's up to you to build the structure. If this video lit a fire in you, drop this final affirmation in the comments. I fix my mind. I fix my life. And if you want more wisdom like this video, comment below. Share it with someone who's ready for real growth. And subscribe to the channel for more ancient truth turned into modern strength. Let's grow together.